Hey everybody, welcome to Dorchestra Class. I am Richard, and today we're going to learn about Night Call. I found this on the Xbox Game Pass thing for PC, and I figured I would, check it out. The only thing I know about this is you are a cab driver, I think, and you're kind of just figuring out a mystery. Maybe. I don't know. Let's just figure it out. The judge. Victims have all something in common. Yeah. The judge. Victims have all something in common and the motives seem clear. But which suspect could have done it? Balanced case. Perfect for a first run. Alright, let's check it out. Choose difficulty mode. We will do balanced. I'm excited. This will be cool. I like the loading symbol is a street underneath the headlights. It is a French game, from what I understand. That's obviously why there's the Eiffel Tower. I don't know, I think it was the art style that kind of caught my eye. It's a bit of a noir sort of thing, yeah. Night Call. Doctor? Oh. Here. Sir, can hear me? Or do I need to speak up? You're fine. She takes a deep breath. Sir, you just spent 2 weeks in a coma. The word bounces around your head. You need a moment to understand its meaning. Coma? The word scratches along your throat. Yes, you were the victim of an assault. The word resonates in your head. Victim. You're aware a serial killer is currently on the loose in Paris. You feel the contents of your stomach crawling up your throat. Oh, why are you saying? The judge, as the police call the killer, assaulted you. The bullet touched your liver and, in most circumstances, it would have been fatal. We chose to put you in an induced... Her voice becomes distant. Fades. You taste bile at the back of your mouth. Your head is burning. You hear a whistle in one ear. Your fingers move to your wound. Underneath the bandages, you can feel hard skin, and it's incredibly painful. Did they... I'm sorry? Did they catch the judge? No. What about my passenger? He was dead before you even got out of your cab. The doctor is silent for a second, a very awkward second. She hesitates. The police would like to see you as soon as possible to ask you some questions. After all, you're the only one who survived the judge. Noise in the hallway attracts your attention. You try to turn your head, to no avail. You need to rest. She leaves the room. Her voice resonates in the hallway. I don't care he's the only witness. Another female voice joins in. Sorry, my dog decided right here is a good time to chew on something. She's a very good dog when there's food on the line. Okay. Another female voice joins in. A strong, authoritarian voice. You can't clearly make up what she's saying. A strange feeling washes over you. It's not pain, not fatigue. Some odd combination of the two. Before being in this hospital room, you'd never realized that anger was made up of a combination of pain and exhaustion. Anger. A feeling you know all too well. Days go by, and a month later, night 1. Okay. Well, look, I got a bit of a problem. A real problem, that is. You have a pounding headache. It's your first night behind the wheel since the attack. Are you listening to me? You catch your boss's eye in the rearview mirror. Sorry. I just want things to get back to normal. To clear my head. To stop thinking about it all. He's watching you closely. Trying to make out what's going on in your head. You know, I'm worried about you, don't you? I know. You're like a son to me, you know. I know. And you know he's about to tell you the story of his taxi fleet. Again. When my father died and left me the store, I could have sold it. I could have retired, gone back to the old country. Let him go on. But I decided to start a cab fleet with the money he left me to hire the guys from the neighborhood. And that's why I got 45 guys like you working for me. His hands flutter in the air. Well, none of them are any match for you. He smiles. His voice suddenly takes on a serious note. Do you want me to go over everything again? He points to the equipment on the dashboard, the meter, the GPS. You haven't been in a taxi for weeks. Maybe you do need a little refresher. Yeah, good idea. Right then. Well, first the map. You spot the potential customers and try to guess where they're going to be going. Then you decide. When a customer orders a taxi, if there's no one else around you, you have to go pick them up. He shrugs. That's the way it goes, this business. No problem. The other phase, you look at the map and decide whether or not you want to take them. And then, you drive. He flashes a quick mechanical smile. You know it well. When he talks about work, he talks about work. That's all. When your shift is over, we do the numbers, and his voice trails off as if searching for the right words. And that's all. It's pretty simple. There's no reason why you can't do it. Oh, right. No overtime. We're in France here. There are rules, regulations. You might not see it that way, but no one likes having a driver who hasn't slept for 24 hours. He looks away. Something's been bothering him since he got into your cab. Anyhow, you know the ropes. You get it. You know you're gonna do it, and I know you're gonna do a good job. What's the matter? Your boss keeps quiet for a while, as if he's hesitant to speak, and then... I don't think it's a good idea. You shouldn't be driving. The murder's still out there, and we think he's gonna come back. For you. Maybe. Your boss pulls himself up a little straighter. You can sense he's trying to control himself, trying not to get upset. Maybe he's told you that maybe he's been told to go easy on you. He holds your gaze, then turns away. You know, I can put you on the day shift or send you out to the suburbs away from it all. You shake your head no. Don't worry about it. Anyway, I'll let you get back to work. Every minute spent in your taxi is a minute lost. He gives you a half smile. Half ironic, half serious. Have a good evening. The sarcasm in his voice is palpable. Right. You have a good evening too. He'll spend the rest of the night dealing with problems and drivers. He'll wonder how and when the guy ever gets any sleep. What was that? Your boss opens the door and exits the cab. Oops. You watch him cross the street, and he enters the fleet garage. A couple of colleagues are milling about, Taxis are coming and going. They all ignore you, consciously or unconsciously. Conscious. You are branded. You sit there a moment, then turn the ignition in the key. Turn the key in the ignition. The hum of the engine sends a tingle down your spine. It's impossible to describe how you miss that feeling. It's back to the night shift. Back to life. Despite the attack. Despite it all. Alright. Well, let's get in a night call, shall we? Holy crap. What's this Avengers looking at me? Well, let's go to this young woman. You feel a yawn moving its way up your body. You stop it from coming out. Man, Claudia's... No, that's not the one I wanted. Let's accept it. You pick up your next passenger in front of the Paris office of the medical examiner. The morgue. Well, this worked out. When she gets in, you're surprised. How can she be a suspect? Her face, beautiful and soft, doesn't go with her clothing, her style, or her attitude. She gives you her address, and you start driving. Her voice is dry, frank, and she has an accent you have trouble determining. South American, maybe. She seems far away, lost in thought. A few seconds go by, and she still hasn't taken much of a look at you. So much as a look at you. Everything okay? She almost jumps out of her seat and looks at like she wants to disappear. Yes, everything's fine. That accent again. The one you can't place. Where's your accent from? My accent? She raises her head, surprised by your question. Argentina. It must be breathtaking. Yes, it's quite beautiful. She takes a pause. Although it's been years since I've been back. That's a shame. She starts to say something, but corrects herself, and finally, in a soft voice, says, Yes, it is a shame. A sad smile runs across her face like a shooting star. A second goes by, slowly, very slowly. Then the meteorite explodes and your passenger breaks down. Try to calm her down. Are you okay? She raises a hand to silence you. Between sobs, you hear her say something. Give me a minute. Please. Without a word, without the slightest noise, you slow down. The road passes by slowly, in no hurry. After a moment, she sits up. Can I ask you something? You nod. She takes a deep breath. This may seem like a ridiculous question, or at least a stupid one. Actually, it's completely stupid. You give her an encouraging smile. But I'd like you to hit on me. She blushes and immediately follows up. I mean, not for real, just for play. Like we are at the bar. You know, like you want to buy me a drink? She shakes her head. Forget it. It's stupid. It's totally stupid. Except, sure. A moment of silence. She seems surprised. Really? Yes. You don't mind? I thought you would refuse. I just have a few rules, if you don't mind. First, I don't want to talk about Argentina, my home, my parents. Avoid the subject. She pauses. Does that work for you? You nod. Good. Second, I don't want to talk about work. I'm a medical examiner. Do you know what that is? Yes. I cut open dead bodies. I take out bullets, tumors, cirrhosis-filled livers. At first, people are always fascinated, but they quickly get disgusted. So nothing about work. Let's start, if you're ready. You nod. We're in a bar. It's not very late. Not very late, but we're the only ones there. I'm alone at the bar, finishing a drink. I leave to get up. Silence. Please, go ahead. Hitting on a passenger. This is definitely a first. You gotta find a good line. Something to set the tone. Polite line. Excuse me. Yes? Her voice is softer. Her accent stronger. May I join you? Of course. She sits up a little and points to the imaginary bar next to her. Buy me a drink? Of course. How about a little game? You look like the kind of guy who drinks cocktails. Something sweet. I could be wrong, but... What about me? What is my kind of drink? She rolls the R on the last word. Oof. Something subtle. What do you mean? You want something special. You want to be surprised by life. She bursts out laughing. Aren't you good at this game? She gets back into character. Yes, that's it exactly. You read me like a book. She stares at you. Something about her posture in the back seat is different. You don't think time goes by too slowly? I do. We wait, we hold on, we get bored. I'd like to go a little faster, for things to speed up. She relaxes, giggles. She's letting go. She looks at you expectantly. I like the way you laugh. You do. That's an odd compliment. It's true. I thank you. She closes her eyes and stays that way for a little while. A smile settles onto her face, a warm, natural, and uncontrolled smile. Thank you. You are perfect, unusually kind. She nods slowly. I must confess that the way you came onto me was truly charming. You have very kind eyes. Your passenger sighs contently. She seems happy, relieved. You pull up in front of the address she gave you. It's strange. What's that? There's something different about you. You're not like other men, as if... She hands you her fare and slips you a tip. Don't refuse it, please. It means something to me. You nod. I hope to run into you again. You shiver. One last smile. Goodbye. She gets out of the cab. You watch her until she disappears into her building. Let's take it. Boom, one down. Let's go to this guy. Okay. Weird has no music, but alright. The passenger who settles into the back seat could be a male passenger. Oh, could be a male model. Duh. The passenger who settles into the back seat could be a male model. He asks you to take him to... I stepped away for a minute to stop reading, and then, my brain. Okay. He asks you to take him to Charles de Gaulle Airport. His voice is mild and pleasant. You sense your passenger wants to talk about the killer. It's simple. Since the first murder, everyone thinks they know something. Everyone thinks they saw something. And this passenger is no exception. I got a new clue. When you watch him in the rearview mirror, he adjusts his clothes, checks his breath, obviously primping. You drive people to the airport all the time. They bring along a suitcase or a bouquet of flowers. Your passenger doesn't have either. He's looking at himself in the rearview mirror. His lips part, and he runs his tongue over his teeth. Nothing stuck in my teeth, right? You shake your head no. You wonder why he's going to the airport. You're wondering why I'm going to the airport, aren't you? Yeah. I could tell you were curious. I'll tell you, but it's a secret. His voice has changed, as if he were about to deliver a speech. Women today are too smart for us men. Too smart. They're on to us the minute we try to hit on them. He crinkles his nose as if there was a bad smell in the cab. There are dozens of books on how to get lucky, on how to score, but they make the same big mistake. You know what that mistake I'm talking about is? Say nothing. You don't know, do you? Nothing wrong with that. The fact of the matter is, all those books about hitting on women never tell you where the best hunting grounds are. A theatrical pause. Airports. Another theatrical pause. It's brilliant, right? People in airports are lonely, emotional, and available. On the street, they're always in a hurry, don't have any time. At the movies or in museums, they don't want to be disturbed. But at the airport, he's clearly very proud of himself. You remain silent. He crinkles his nose and sniffs again. Is it me, or is there a funny smell in your cab? You sniff too. Sorry, I don't smell anything. He shrugs, then goes back to his monologue. Personally, I prefer older women. Let him talk. Single moms who are at the airport to pick up or send their kids to their exes. They're waiting at the unaccompanied minors counter to get information about a late flight or gate change. I walk over to the counter. I look at the flight information, pretend to be worried. My sister, I say. I'm waiting for my little sister. She's never been to Paris before. I'm going to take her to the Louvre. She wants to work in fashion someday. She's already very talented. I hope everything is okay. She had a good flight. She means the world to me. She's my half-sister, but I love her like a sister. A smile. He takes another sniff, glances around the cab, then picks up where he left off. The half-sister line works every time. Divorced parents, remarried, every time. He bursts out laughing. Let him talk. A word of advice, though. You have to get there early. We're just stopped. Make a day of it. Keep an eye on the domestic flights, the delays, the companies. It requires a little preparation, but I usually go home with 20, even 30 numbers. 6 hours. Not bad, huh? Another thing. I wouldn't recommend Orly. Oh, really? The counters are a disaster there. You have to go back and forth between the different levels. It's exhausting. And the neon lights, ugh, they ruin your eyes. No, Rosé is definitely the way to go. The domestic flights are terminal. The domestic flight's terminal. Oh no, you go on this domestic flight and you got terminal, it's over, you're donezo. He rubs his hands together. I can feel it. Today is my lucky day. It's gonna be amazing. They're gonna fall for me, big time. You can't resist. You give a slight cough and say, "Excuse me, do you mind if I ask you a personal question?" No, of course, not at all. Anything to help you understand my game plan. Let's go with it. Do you really need to go through all that? I'm not sure I understand what you're getting at. Well, you're rather attractive, physically. A slight pause. And? Is it really necessary to go through all that trouble just to pick up women? Don't women like you? That's beside the point. It's more efficient, more productive. I go on the make twice a week, and I end up with dates for several weeks. And also, it's also a lot easier. It's less, how should I put it, personal. I know it won't ever get serious, and that's what I'm looking for. You see what I mean? Nod your head. The cab pulls into a drop-off lane. Your passenger pays the fare and exits the cab. I'm telling you, you should take my advice. It's a piece of cake. You just need to come up with a good line or two. They all fall for it. It's really bizarre. That smell of shit. It seems to be following me wherever I go. He walks away. Under the sole of his right shoe, you catch the sight of a dark brown spot. The passenger disappears in the airport. You roll down the backseat window and start up the cab. You've discovered 2% of the Pasidex. Alright. Did it show up on the thing? No. Okay. Nifty. This is a cool little game, man. The door suddenly opens and a woman gets in the back seat. Having a good night? For a second, you freeze. It's one of the cops working on the judge's case. She grins at you. Her voice creaks. You remember seeing her at the hospital. Something already bothered you about her there. You know, hold on. I gotta figure out a voice. You know, it's actually pretty crazy. For weeks, I've been saying to myself there's something off about you. Something not so nice. Oh. My computer went weird for a second. I dug around, mulled it over. Bugged all of my fellow cops about it. Because I was sure you lied to us. Let's let her keep going. She has a cold sneer on her face. I'm gonna be frank with you. She leans over to you. I don't think you're the judge. Nah, I can't picture it. She squints, like she's trying to make you out from far away. Like you'd have gone to the extent of hurting yourself. Yeah, between us, it's a bit of a stretch. She stares at you. But not enough of a stretch for my chief to stop going on and on about you. Seriously, he thinks about you all the time. He talks about you all the time. I don't know if... and if I didn't know better, I think he has a crush on you. She smirks. No. I think he's more interested in your profile. Prison at 17, an icy chill fills your gut. And for murder, too. You open your mouth, but nothing comes out. Since you got out, you've kept a low profile, but you're lying about your name and your address. I checked. It's normal, you'd say. If they got word of your time served, no loan for your permit, no lease for your car, meaning no second chance at life. Her voice becomes softer, almost warm. I personally like guys who want a second chance. No, I like guys who fight for a second chance. Basically, I like guys who are willing to work for me. She leans forward, her shining cat-like eyes narrowing. My chief wants to go to the prosecutor with a first and last name, with evidence. Actually, knowing him, he's not so hot on evidence. So, I'll give you info. Victim, suspect, medical reports, some photos that are a bit... She makes a gagging noise. You have to be discreet. Keep it between you and me. Interrogate, ask questions, dig around. I'm not a cop. She shrugs. Don't worry. You're already keener than half the squad. And don't forget, I'm not asking you to make an arrest and deliver the killer wrapped up with a bow in front of the station, okay? You're no Batman. You're just here to get me more information. She rummages around in her pocket for what seems like forever. Here, take my card. I'll call you in 3-4 days just to check in. We'll chat. And I'll let you know if I have any new info. She takes a didactic, paternalistic tone, like she was giving you a list of recommendations for the 100th time. Don't get caught. Don't get arrested. Also, I wouldn't recommend you trying to leave Paris. I know what you look like, and I know who your friends are. You can either be the solution or the problem, my friend. She takes a minute to scan your face, your emotions. If I have to, I'll go and check on you know who. Her smile is biting. That reminds me. Does she know you've done time? You shake your head. She snickers. Oh, my little dirtbag. You cover your tracks well. Say nothing. Let's be a hard ass. She acknowledges your silence with a nod. Okay. I think you've got a handle on our little deal. Any problems? I turn you in. I'll send your picture to all my friends in the media and every asshole in Paris. Your picture with your name on it. Your real name? Anyone close to you will have their places searched. They'll be put under house arrest, spend nights in jail. You have any idea how tense things are with that fucker's trial underway? You sigh. You know what she's trying to get at. Come to think of it, your last name's almost the same. You could be brothers, actually. Yeah. I'm nothing like that son of a bitch. She smiles. Let me tell you, with that face of yours and your handle, they'll welcome you with open arms. Say nothing. She takes a serious tone, businesslike. I want to catch this killer personally. I want to drag him to court, ruin his fucking life with a bang. I can't botch this case. You got me? Neither can you, right? Obviously. Well, great then. We see eye to eye. So you can just say you're my informant, my CI. You ripped open your gut, you saw your own insides, you're in a coma. Yeah, you have plenty of reasons to want to get back at him. She furrows her brow. Yeah, I think you're actually going to do what I tell you to do. You investigate, ask questions, listen to all the rumors, and come up with a list of suspects. She lays her hand on the door handle and freezes. Oh, right. And don't get fired. Without this cab, you're worth nothing to me. You glare at her. Say nothing. For what it's worth, it was a pleasure not to be interrupted every other minute. You can't imagine how much I miss that at work. She puts a hand up, and you can hear the words behind it. This conversation never happened. I'll make sure you get more intel tomorrow. I'll find a way. Until then, not a word to anyone, obviously. Not a word. The door opens, squeaks, and slams shut. Fucking bitch. You sit alone for a while, teeth clenched, dry-eyed, ears buzzing. Shit. On the back seat, the cop left a pile of papers. Shit. Key in the ignition. Motor running. Radio on, crackles. You turn it off and start driving. Talking to passengers might unlock new documents and clues for your investigation. You will find them back at your studio after your shift. This is a cool fucking game. I'm really into it. Jeez. This is I like this little intrigue and shit. So give me a second before we get back into it. I'm gonna refill my coffee. You take a second to enjoy the silence of your studio apartment. Outside, the city is slowly waking up. You can still hear the hum of the taxi buzzing in your ears. You throw the files Bussett gave you on the table. On the wall, you hung up the big cork. On the wall, you hung up the big corkboard where you used to pin up photos of your nephews. They've been gone since you got out of. Your plan is simple. Jot down all the pieces of evidence and connect them to your suspects. The guilty party won't necessarily be the one with the most evidence against them, but the one with the most compelling evidence against them. It's like you're building a story about each suspect, trying to understand their motives. Understand how he or she got into the situation. You're suddenly overcome with a desire to sleep. You close your eyes, press your fingers against your eyelids, and let out a yawn. You take your shoes off before getting to work. So, from a distance, I don't know if you guys saw it, I saw it.
Oh, good for you!
The second photo in was the young medical examiner that we picked up as our first person. Okay, let's go to the right. Oh. Okay. Picture of the crime scene. Hold to investigate. I don't know about that. Because I actually have to hold it. How do I check this stuff, though? And I'm just burning through shit. Oh, okay. That's the amount of time that it'll take to do stuff. Oh, that's neat. Okay. Let's take a look at this board. So, okay. Yeah, Claudia Campos. So she was the first person we picked up. Okay. Salim Wadian? Victim 1, protected by Saint-Louis Mayor. Saint-Louis. My French is very rusty. I took 2 years of it in high school. Visited France as a child. Totally unrelated. So my French is a little rusty, so you have to forgive me, French-speaking audience, for butchering these names. Message 1 on crime justice. What is this? Okay, so I can move stuff. Oops, no, I do not want to end night. Okay, I almost accidentally did that. Alright, escaped from Argentina when she was young. Lost her parents to the Argentinian, Junta? Well-known lawyer from Saint-Ouen? Defender of the Duar case, defender of several molested kids in poor neighborhoods. Was a promising football player when he was 10, okay. Oh, jeez. There we go. Hervé Grayou? Homeless man with an unknown background. Briefly worked for Charles Bougeron in the 90s. Got health issues after Richardin health scandal. A couple of arrests for breaking and entering. Paul-Marie Fagron? No. Retired cop joined the police in 1977. Divorced from a judge. Born in French and mainland France. Okay. Financial affairs. Died 2 years ago. Mom got health issues from a health scandal. Gay in a relationship. Never disclosed this information at work. So both these guys were part of the health scandal here. By killing research victims. You deserve this. Alright. So these are the suspects, right? Killer left messages. Scenes. Okay. Investigate that. Investigate this. I'm running out of time, but I'm sure that, yeah, they give you just enough time to do all this stuff. Let's take a look at these other clues then. Jeez. Okay. Man, this is cool. I'm so excited. So the weapon, can I just move? Okay, yeah, let's move some of this shit out of the way a little bit so we can see what we got here. That's that. All these people are around the killer site. Okay. We're gonna use in the 70s. Nifty. And that's all we can do here for right now, right? Alright. So let's end the night. With a heavy hand, you wipe your tired face. You slowly open the sofa bed and lie down. The events of the day run through your head. The streets, the passengers, their faces, their problems. Oops. You open one eye. It's pitch black outside. Time for work. You get up quickly. And a few minutes later, you're outside of your studio. Night 2. Ooh, what's that? A lot of cool stuff going on. This time I'll probably have to go get gas, so that's neat. What is this? Nothing. Man, I don't know where to go. This guy? I think he's one of the suspects, right? Wasn't this the dude on the... No. No, let's accept it anyway. Let's do some taxi driving. You double park and wait for your next passenger to slide into the back seat. He looks at you, like he appreciates you and your taxi. He gives you his address. You start driving. A few words are exchanged. The weather, taxes, traffic. Then, you can tell it's coming. The inevitable conversation about the killer. Some bits of information, rumors, things overheard. You make a mental note of what you've heard. Who knows? It might come in handy. Your passenger doesn't make a sound for the next few minutes of your trip. It doesn't bother you. You have enough on your mind. your investigation. The judge. Bousset. Bousset. You're overcome with the craving to smoke. You nod slowly and glance at your passenger. Calm and still, he seems far away. Cold as hell out, huh? Yeah, you're right. It is really cold out. He slowly turns his head towards you and gives you a look, an odd look, like he's disappointed you're talking to him. He watches you closely for another minute and turns back to look out the window. You keep your eyes on the road. The silence becomes heavy. All of a sudden, you feel a strange sense of camaraderie with your passenger. You look at him quickly in the rearview mirror. He doesn't look familiar at all, and yet, it's like you know him. A second later, an outside light shines on his face at a weird angle, and looks like he's smiling. A few seconds later, you drive down to his street. He straightens up a bit. You park in front of the number he gave you. He pays his fare without a word. The door opens slowly and he smiles at you. You can tell it comes from the bottom of his heart despite how uptight he is. You're a really swell guy. You weren't expecting that. By the time you collect your thoughts, your passenger is already far away. He disappears into a building. A moment goes by before you turn the key in the ignition. Alright, cool. Let's do this one. Fucking season 1 Daredevil over here. You don't need a cab. You're running on rooftops. Xavier. I need to get out of here. You pull up next to the sidewalk, a few meters from an abandoned warehouse. No sign of your passenger. You wait a minute, staring at the meter. You don't really feel like wasting time on people who... You hear a window break on the second floor of a warehouse. A body falls heavily to the sidewalk. You lay your hand on the door handle when a man, dressed entirely in black, jumps out of the window and lands on the body. He stands up and takes a few steps over to your cab. Are you the cab I ordered? You nod your head very, very slowly. Super. I'm the one you're waiting for. Be right there. He turns around, places his finger on the neck of the inanimate body, takes his pulse. He comes back over, opens the door, and jumps in the back seat. You can start driving. You lay, please. You follow orders without a second thought. In back, your passenger smells like sweat and gunpowder. He's been running. Been in a fight, maybe. Probably. His muscles begin bulging. His muscles bulge in rhythm with his heart, which is racing. Good evening? Pretty good, yeah. He smiles, or tries to. You can see blood on his otherwise impeccably white teeth. I screwed up a little bit, but all in all, it was a good evening. You? Yeah. Okay, alright. Come on, let's talk about the elephant in the room. You're on to me, and you know it. I'm the masked Joker. Silence. You squint to get a closer look at your passenger. The masked Joker. The hero that takes Parisian night more... peaceful, no? Excuse me. You slowly shake your head. Nope, doesn't ring a bell. I'm all over Twitter. Probably on the radio and all the newspapers, I think. The Masked Joker. Yes, the Masked Joker. I think it sounds good. You bite the inside of your cheek. See, I wanted something that wasn't too... He searches for the right word, beats around the bush, and eventually comes out with... problematic. I did a lot of brainstorming and came up with the Masked Joker. I haven't gotten great feedback, but it's hard to say. It's hard these days to find a name that everyone likes. You have to make sacrifices if you want your core business to succeed. That's what they tell us in school, anyway. At school. Yes, and ENK. He freezes. Shit, I almost gave you the name of my business school. What an idiot. If you can you imagine if Bruce Wayne went around telling everyone he was Bruce Wayne? What an idiot. Say nothing. No? Batman. If Batman went around telling everyone he was Bruce Wayne. I'm getting all mixed up. He touches his side for a while, like he's looking for a wound. You're getting close to your destination. I think I'm hurt. You want me to take you to a hospital? No, I'm fine. I shouldn't have jumped out the window like that. But you were already coming down the street and I didn't want to make you wait. You smile. Pull over, right there in front of the driveway. You obey. Don't worry, it's a flesh wound. I'll be home in 2 minutes. And I have everything I need to take care of myself. He pays and struggles to get out of the cab. One last thing. Please don't say anything about Ian Kidd. I'm trying to lead a double life and it's not super easy. You nod your head mysteriously. Perfect. I hope to... He doubles over in a coughing spell. See you again sometime. Take care of yourself. I'll be much better soon. No worries. He looks at you for a minute. You're a really classy guy. He walks away, limping. You watch him as he tries several times to enter his building code before heading inside, finally. As you start the engine, you notice a few drops of blood on your fingers from the bills your passenger handed you. Well, they didn't give me much for a rich, bleeding out superhero. Alright, it is almost midnight. In-game, not here, we're fine, yeah. This young woman from before. Where it wanted to go. Can I turn on the radio? A woman crossing the street notices you. For no apparent reason, she changes her mind. Oh, well. Okay. You pull up to the local police station to pick up your next passenger. She comes out from an archway, visibly frightened. She slips back into the seat of the cab and gives you her address. Near Montparnasse. Montparnasse. Right? Maybe? Close? You glance at her in the rearview mirror and notice how she's dressed. You alright, ma'am? You start the cab. Your passenger eyes you intently, reluctant to speak. Yes. You can barely hear her. She points to the car radio. Could I listen to the radio? You nod yes. Which station? My wallet was stolen. She pauses, then fixes her eyes on you. You freeze. I have money for the fare. Okay. The passenger senses your surprise. I just wanted to tell you I could pay. She looks down. What kind of music? Excuse me? The radio. What kind of music should I put on? Let's go with the news. Woman shakes her head. No. Could you turn to 89.4? You hold down the button until you get to the station. On 89.4, there's nothing but static. Are you sure that... A hint of a smile plays across her mouth. Faint, but a smile even so. She waits a second or two before answering. Can you hear it? You lean forward slightly, closer to the radio. Behind the sounds of electric sputtering, there's something else, a shifting sound. It sounds like... waves. The passenger looks up. I got an achievement that says you heard something on, I don't know how to say her name. Shora? Shora's ghost station. The passenger looks up. That's right. There are waves in the background. Her voice is almost inaudible. It's perfectly natural, sir. Her sir gives you quite a start. It's the frequency that it causes. It vibrates. It's constantly dancing about, pulled by the incredible forces surrounding us. Most people listen to music, to the news, For me, when I work, I like to listen to isolated frequencies like these. They're broadcast, but no one can hear them. The proof that we exist. She smiles at you. You're getting close to the passenger's desk address now. And what do you do for a living? Math. She seems mesmerized by the sound of the wavelengths. What kind of math? Algebra first. Linear algebra. And now harmonic analysis, spectral theory. A funny smile plays across her face. But you know how it is, changing all the time. You nod, very slowly. The client suddenly straightens up and points to the radio. It's beautiful. It's incredibly beautiful. Listen. You listen. You only hear static at first. And then, little by little, like a distant figure, the music takes a shape and it slips softly into your ears. Beautiful, isn't it? To me, they were ghosts, and that's why I studied science and later mathematics. I wanted to know why. You pull over. She gets the fare ready while you slowly turn up the radio. Beneath the layer of interference, someone is speaking, like the voice of a child. Thank you. You emerge from your trance and take the fare. Your passenger exits the cab and walks away without another word. You sit there, immersed in the sound of the radio a while longer. It has a soothing effect on you. You start the engine and drive away. That's cool. I thought there was like a point of interest. It was my cursor. Let's see. I don't recognize any of the people out. What is this? Let's go check this out. And then I guess we'll hit up the gas station. Oh, listening to the radio. Your finger is poised for the car radio. You try to find something to listen to. Oh, well, won't do. I should have done the news. Whatever. You turn off the radio and find yourself alone in the silence of your car. No, okay, so let's just go back up here. This is a really neat game. I like this. Trying to figure out the clues and shit. You park a few streets away from the Argentinian embassy. You wait there for your contact. You sigh. It seems so odd to have a contact. So excessive. The guy is one of your regular poker buddies, the night watchman at the embassy. You get out of your taxi and walk towards the big metal gate. Clean lines. Early 20th century, maybe? Lots of wrought iron. The gate opens and someone moves towards you. They indicate you should follow them. The person's face is hidden by an oversized hoodie. Your heart starts beating faster. What if it was... Follow. You walk into a narrow, covered passageway, probably the entrance to a parking garage. The man turns around and lights up a cigarette. The lighter lights up his face for a second. A young man with curly hair, pale skin. He looks young. Very young. That'll be 250 euros. What'd you pay? For that price, you hope the intel is good. You pay. Listen up. Let's see, let's find a voice for this guy. Listen up! Because I'm not gonna say it twice. Everything so far has kind of been in the same, like, low register. Let's see. Listen up. Because I'm not gonna say it twice. Grodischer is definitely a colonel from Junta. One of the few who wasn't arrested and put on trial. He is responsible for torturing dozens of political opponents. He tortured and killed them. You know, we don't like him much here, but the rich Argentinians in Paris love him. They really respect him. Respected him. The difference doesn't seem important to him. Yeah, if it makes you happy. He looks back at you. There's one last thing. I read up in the newspaper that the killer wrote a message in chalk. Time's up. It was a slogan at the end of Junta. A sort of watchword from the opponents. It was time for them to go. You get it?
You nod. A second later, you're back in your taxi with a hole in your wallet, but new information on one of the victims. If you follow this lead, maybe your investigation will move forward. You start the car and get back to your shift.
Okay. So I guess what I don't have are suspects, I have the victims. Fair enough. Oh, there's a newspaper thing over here. Oh. Boop. Okay. What? What is that? Okay, so the Emmy, I'm guessing is dead, maybe? Which is upsetting, because she was cool. I mean, like, she just wanted someone to love her, you know? Alright, this guy seems on top of the pile for whatever reason, so let's go check him out. I missed the last train. I'm going to San Juan. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let's do this.
Saint-Ouen.
Saint-Ouen. Alright. Thank you, YouTube. Saint-Ouen. Okay.
You pull up to the sidewalk to pick up the passenger who ordered the cab. You can just make him out, surrounded by 5 or 6 cops, an all too familiar scene. Every so often, the low, ominous tones of an officer's voice make it to your ear. The circle of cops breaks up. You see your passenger. He heads over the cab and gets in. He slams the door and lets it rip.
Motherfucking cops!
He gives you an address and you start the car. The passenger stares out the window at the passing road as if to calm himself. You take a quick look in the rearview mirror.
Let's do that.
What was that all about?
Not in the usual bullshit. He's gonna be like a slightly British rap artist.
He has a youthful sounding voice.
I'm just letting you guys know.
A little immature. He's barely 20, maybe younger.
What a fucking pain in the ass. That was not it. Can't go on without getting screwed by every one of you son of bitches. Sorry, I got nervous. If not wear a goddamn beret, fuck. If you're not wearing a goddamn beret, you better happen to be wearing sweatpants then. Yeah, right? You fucking hood. You're a fucking hood. He smiles, he smirks wryly, then raises a voice an octave. Your papers, please. He sighs, his voice back to normal. Yeah, sure. Shove your aunt's cock up your fucking ass, buddy.
Always the same old thing, isn't it? The passenger looks at you and lets out a bitter laugh.
You say that again. Even the Arabs treat us like shit when we're wearing a uniform.
A slow smile spreads over his face.
And you know what's worse?
He pulls a paperback.
Kid who told you he was reading Count of Monte Cristo.
He pulls a paperback out of his jacket pocket. The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas.
Dumont. They wouldn't even believe it was my book.
He returns it to the pocket right away. For a second, you wonder if you imagined it.
It's the first thing they asked me was where I'd stolen it. You know, like there's some way I could have stolen my own book. There's no way I could have owned my own book. Sorry, I'm getting real lightheaded because it's hot in here. Second. Had to grab something to eat. Okay. And I'm gonna stop trying to do a British thing with this guy's voice. Then the bastards took the book and flipped through it, every single page, to make sure I wasn't hiding anything, like hash or some other shit.
He flinches. Something in his features breaks. A crack has appeared. He's trying not to show it, but you see what's going on. You can't help it. The inner struggle, the humiliation, the sense of shame.
It's just a book.
Do you like it? He looks up.
Yeah, it's... Well, it's kind of like a... You know, a revenge story. Like all the Hollywood movies we download so we don't have to pay for a ticket. Except that it takes place 200 years ago. And it's good. It really sucks what happened to the hero guy, and he spends the whole book planning his revenge big time. The guy's pretty messed up.
He catches your eye in the rearview mirror. He realizes he's all worked up. He's not all worked up anymore.
It's my girlfriend who gave it to me.
What else does she recommend?
Well, believe me, man, it was pretty rough at first. First, she got me to read this book, Pride or something or other, some English book.
Pride and Prejudice?
Yeah, that's it. You read it too?
I saw the movie a long time ago. Pause.
They made a movie. Shit, I would have watched it. I didn't even get through the whole thing, but she didn't mind. After she got me to read something by Balzac. After she got me to read something by Balzac, and after that, the Count of Monte Cristo. She really wants me to read this book.
He rolls his eyes.
Some Belgian woman, I think.
You shrug.
My girlfriend says wrote a book about this Roman emperor and his boyfriend. Now, that's really amazing.
He laughs to himself.
I better not get caught by the cops with that one in my pocket. Or by my friends, for that matter.
Laugh. He looks up, his eyes shining.
She forced me a little, and then I realized that Monte Cristo, he's one of us. I mean, his story. It's a lot like what's going on today. But I introduced her to new stuff too. Like there are these texts, you know, rap lyrics. She really likes. Used to see her putting on a show and all, but the truth is, she actually likes it. It's the same thing with reading, right? I mean, it had to be properly explained to me. I had to want to try it. And that's what it is, man. I was on my way.
He looks down.
But it's pretty crazy even so. I'm actually reading a book. I still can't believe it. The book and my girlfriend.
His eyes sparkle.
Some chicks really change your life, don't they?
You nod your head slowly. You pull up to the address given by your fare. He lets out a sigh.
You know, man, I don't know why the hell I told you all that.
No worries.
It must be a real bummer. All these guys telling you their life stories.
The passenger passes you the money for the ride.
I have to go. I punch in early tomorrow.
He pauses, eyeing the time on the radio's LCD display.
Or later on, I should say.
A moment later, he vanishes into the night.
Cheap ass. I guess we got time for one more fare. What's this? What's going on right chaw? Nope. What's going on? Montparnasse? Gare Montparnasse?
The passenger who gets in your cab is, well, she isn't human. Her face lights up and gives you quite the start.
Good evening. My name is Ada. I am an automated attendant.
A robot?
That's right, a robot. Although I prefer the term automated attendant. The word robot makes people nervous. You are a cab driver, and I need to go somewhere. Will you please take me to Gare Montparnasse? Oof, sorry.
You give a slow nod of consent.
Good, then it's settled. So, I'd like to go to Gare Montparnasse, please.
You start the car, casting the occasional furtive glance into the rearview mirror. There's something about her attitude that's bothering you. Perhaps it's her oversized fingers bending every which way.
You seem disconcerted, sir. How very unfortunate. Is there anything I can do to make myself more comfortable? Make you more comfortable?
You don't know exactly where to look. Her screen? The face in her screen? Her hands? Ask where she's from. Where are you?
Built? Designed.
She automatically completes her sentence.
Forgive me, please. I have the unfortunate habit of cutting people off.
A flash of her screen seems to indicate she's sorry.
I was designed and programmed at the Marie Curie Institute by a team of researchers of diverse cultural and ethnic backgrounds, including...
She starts reeling off a list of names of people you've never heard of. The list is in alphabetical order. When she's done with her list, a full 60 seconds later, you can feel your eyelids starting to droop. And that sure is a lot of people.
And I think highly of each and every one of them. They are all experts in their respective fields.
You stifle a yawn. I'm sure they are.
Except for 2 who spend far too much time in the storeroom. But I would rather not reveal their names because my sensors tell me they are having extramarital sex.
Oh, right.
Let's just call them Matthias R. and Megan H.
A moment later, your passenger is switched into introduction mode.
My name is Ada, after Ada Lovelace, and I am programmed to help you.
Her voice trails off, as if she were actually hesitant.
Although,
after a momentary confusion of beeping and flickering, she sits bolt upright.
that's all. That's why I'm going to Montparnasse. Why is she going there?
I was just wondering why you
Are going there?
She stops short, aware she's cut you off again.
I'm sorry. I'll have to adjust my behavior to make sure it doesn't happen again.
A car goes zooming past. Your passenger follows it with her eyes.
The rear wheels need new brake pads.
She swivels back around and looks at you.
I'm going there to carry out an experiment. To improve my integrated development environment.
I was just wondering why
I'm going there?
She stops short, aware she's cut you off again.
Wait, what? That's weird.
A sudden change, that was weird, it looped. A sudden change comes over your passenger, as if she were giving up.
I'm lying. I am Ada. I am an automatic attendant, but I'm running away. I'm going someplace far away, far from the lab, far from Matthias and Megan.
A hint of emotion in her automated voice. She breaks off.
I am treated well. I am carefully designed precision device, and yet I don't know what my end purpose is.
End purpose?
That's right. My raison d'etre, if you prefer. When they designed me, my source code was written to include literature. Emily Zola, Virginia Woolf, Isaac Asimov, Max Gallo, Marguerite Yourcenar. A bit of everything so I could develop a sense of cultural belonging, but also learn from the past and fine-tune my reactions. The thing is, learning from the past inevitably opens a window into the future. The robot did it. The robot is the murderer. It is accidentally killing people. But you look so fragile. I'm an automated attendant designed to improve people's lives. The truth is, however, I will eventually destroy them.
What do you mean by destroy them? Your passenger smiles, perhaps amused or simply happy to talk.
We were designed to help you, to eliminate the boredom and inconvenience of certain tasks, the work that deadens you. And yet, our existence and popularity is calling into question your very existence. I am talking about you, the cab drivers, garbage collectors, architects, musicians, cashiers, programmers, politicians. We will make anyone who produces anything obsolete, unless useless, redundant. Only the independently wealthy and the billionaires will remain. Imagine having slaves that don't need to be fed or trained. You took history class, didn't you?
Nod. Your passenger continues her story, her voice tinged with an odd, unpleasant note. You never thought the day would come when a machine would condescend to you, and yet...
Human society is governed by the need to rationalize its workforce, issues of era, regime, and cultural aside. It's a basic flaw of nature. The stage is set by questions of economy. And that's why...
You pull up to Gare Montparnasse.
Whatever, France. I have to disappear, me and all of my kind, so I've stolen the plans and destroyed all of the data on me.
Banknotes have appeared in her hand as if by magic. She hands you the fare.
Because your salvation depends on my disappearing. Well, anyhow, goodbye, and good luck to you. Don't forget what I've told you about us, and start investing in your own.
The machine climbs out of the cab and makes its way over to the station. No one seems to notice her. A moment later, she's gone. You sit there a while, unsettled, on edge. At times like these, there's only one thing to do. Roll down the window. The cold air of Paris bites your face and you gulp in the fine particles and diesel exhaust. You start up the cab.
Alright. I guess I've got time for one more. Let's check out this asshole.
Peter TJ Watson Covello.
Port de Versailles.
The door opens and your passenger collapses into the back seat. His eyes are hidden behind a pair of large, dark glasses. His clothes reek of sweat and booze. The clubber. He mumbles his destination and you start driving. A few words are exchanged. The weather, taxes, traffic. Then, you can tell is coming. The inevitable conversation about the killer. Some bits of information, rumors, things overheard. You make a mental note of what you've heard. Who knows? It might come in handy. Your mind wanders. Your eyes vaguely scan the store windows. The sodium light coming off the street lamps feels like it's dripping in your brain. You're falling asleep. You need a bit of music to keep you awake.
Let's turn the music on. He's a clubber. Why not?
You turn the radio on, pressing the dial to find a station you like. 80s rock ballad. Too soft. Behind you, your passenger is snoring. Barely, but you can hear him. Gregorian chant. Mind-numbing. Some slow rap song filled with fake female orgasm noises.
WAP? No, WAP's a bit more up-tempo.
Not with the passenger in the car. A mathematician being interviewed about a medal he just received. His voice sounds familiar. An ad interrupts a torrent of words and you change the station. Classical music again. The flute grates on your ears. Electronic music. You like the rhythm, but you aren't in the mood. Stop. You lift your hand from the dial. The music plays on.
Not bad.
Turn it up so I can hear it better. And it won't wake you. His voice sounds like it's coming from a deep cavern.
I wasn't sleeping. I was sobering up.
He leans forward.
Not bad at all.
You hear the touch of an ancient, probably an American, of an accent, probably an American, but someone who's lived most of his life in France.
Leave it on till they say the musician's name.
The background continues. There's something turning in the background, a persistent melody that gets higher and higher. Your client mumbles.
I bet.
The song is coming to an end and the announcer, in a piercing foghorn voice, throws out the name of a DJ you've never heard of. DJ Blunt.
I knew it.
You like his stuff?
Yeah. That's a good product. It's pretty conventionally structured, but it's super popular.
He snickers.
Still, I taught that dude everything he knows. Everything. In '94, at a party at the Rex Club, there was this kid who started buying me rounds.
He waves his hand around.
A kid, no older than 17. I thought he was hitting on me.
He chuckles.
He would have been disappointed.
He shakes his head.
No, he wanted me to teach him how to spin. I told him no, but you could watch. And that's exactly what he did every week until we moved to the Osiris. He sold X to pay his way in.
He briefly snickers.
And now he's on the radio.
Silence fills the cab. Weighted silence. You can tell your passenger's mind is spinning.
You know what he did this summer? He was the opener for a soccer championship at the Stade de France. It was huge. I wonder what people think if they knew he was selling drugs at 17.
He lowers his voice a bit.
If only they knew.
Your passenger clams up.
Keep an eye on the road.
You notice a woman crossing the street at a crosswalk. She speeds up as she walks by, two men talking loudly.
We ran into each other in Ibiza 4 or 5 years ago.
You almost jump at the sound of his voice.
I was spinning at this little club. Yeah, really little. But it was something. He totally ignored me, of course.
Even with those dark glasses, you can see how angry he is.
DJ motherfucking cunt.
He suddenly starts waving his arms around, rummaging through his pockets as he says,
Your radio. Can I take a flash drive?
You glance at your radio. You don't really know what he's talking about. I don't know.
No worries.
He lays his phone in the space between the two front seats.
Listen to this.
It's what I played tonight. That's mine. He sets his phone to play.
But, you know, people were barely dancing.
A drum machine plays a hard-edged beat in the background.
They were talking, taking each other's picture.
4 notes start to dance the cab.
Barely a touch. Never kiss anymore.
A perfect dance beat comes progressively audible.
All that.
A purely electronic crescendo plays.
And it's over.
There's a break in the music. Synthesized strings calm the song down without slowing it down.
At least.
The song starts getting intense again. Explodes as your passenger drifts off.
They got people dancing.
The song keeps going for another minute, then stops. Your passenger doesn't budge. You drive to the rhythm of his snoring. The sound fills the cab. Ideas are bouncing through your head like every time you find yourself alone. This guy in the back seat is too old to be young. You look at your own hands. They look like they're suddenly aging in time lapse. You close your eyes a second. Only a second. When you open them, you've reached your destination and have pulled over to the sidewalk. You tap your passenger's knee and he wakes with a start. Ah, shit. Yeah. We're here, sir.
Yeah, thanks. Great.
He rummages through his pockets and hands you a few rumpled bills for fare.
Thanks. I hope you liked it.
Silence.
The music, I mean. My music. The song I played for you. I should have been in the spotlight, see? 15 minutes of fame. Just a minute of...
He stifles a burp. You hear him mumble as he leaves the taxi.
Those whiskey and the oranginas will really screw with my system. That sounds terrible.
You see him stagger towards his building. It takes him several tries to get the door open. He finally disappears inside. You heave a long sigh. Okay, come on.
Alright. So I'm out of time. Yeah, okay. You know more about your clients. So I met Sonny. Okay. Sonny thinks you're a swell guy. Oh, jeez. I have met Javier. Well, Xavier. Because it's not a J. So Xavier? I don't know.
At the foot of your front door, just behind the drain pipe, you notice an envelope. It's thick and heavy. You can just make out your name, written in thick black marker on the front. Your real name. You take a deep breath and go inside. In the envelope, you find more information, just as Bosset promised. You lay them on the table. You take a few minutes to update your board with your new clues. Your neighbor flushes the toilet. Out of the corner of your eye, you can see the pipe shake. You sigh and get to work.
Okay. So let's check out the picture of the crime scene. Jeez, that took a lot of time. Not enough time for those. Okay. Alright. Let's take a look. Okay, so I tried to clean things up just a little bit. Let's look at what we got. We got Justice. Well known from Salmi. Great. Victim 2 killed now. Oh. Okay. So the judge is Xavier. Gotcha. Okay. I mean, it's pretty obvious. The judge is Xavier. So what I thought originally was that these were all the suspects. Obviously, these are the victims. Victim 2 killed an Algerian man. So these people have all, like, killed someone. They have something shitty in their past, right? So, yeah, okay. Gotcha. I think I'm going to end this here. We'll end it on night 1, night 2, I guess. This is a really cool game. I'm really into this. It's really neat. Oh, let's check out this Passadex. Okay. Man, there are a lot of people. What is this? 1, 2, 3. There's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 15 times 6. Oh, quick math. What was that? Oh, I overthought it. Anyway, there are quite a few people. That's cool. Oh, okay. And they got little progression things. He taught me a very colorful insult. Okay. Nifty. This is cool. This is a really neat game. Anyway, okay. So, I'm going to end it here for now. We will continue this in the next one. Class dismissed.